Hey, Carmela.
How are you?
Good, good. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Hey. Patty, can we hear you? Can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, well, good.
No, I just messaged Anthony. I haven't heard back yet, but he should be joining us. I think he's got the link.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
So where are you? You're out in California? Where are you?
I'm all over the place. I have a place in LA and in Vegas and in Phoenix.
Wow. Okay.
Where are you now? That's the question.
This is our video studio here in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
We record trainings and classes and things like that here, webinars.
Dennis, is it possible for you to shoot the link to Anthony? Or maybe I can.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the link, but I swear I sent it to him when I sent it to Patty. But
Yeah.
I can send it. I think I have it here too. You want me to just send it to him?
well,
I've got it. Do you want me to just pop it to him?
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. I'll send it
You
to him
could
right now.
maybe put it right on Teams. It might be easier.
I'm doing it right. Yep. This is where I'm putting it.
Okay.
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 I'll put it in an email. I just press send.
All right.
I
should
sent
have
it to him in
Don't get
Teams.
bombarded. That's okay.
We're having a case of the Mondays.
Somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
So I'm sorry, I didn't hear the answer about where are you right now?
Oh, Vegas.
Oh, okay. Is it hot there?
It is during the summer, but it's actually really nice right now.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had we're in Wisconsin, so very iffy here, but we had some really nice weather and now it's snowing again.
Uh-oh. In
So,
April?
yeah, a little bit of everything.
April is a very disappointing month. That's all I can say. It's very disappointing. It like teases you and then it just reminds you where you are. The next day it comes back and it's snowing.
Oh, April. Well, you can go snowshoeing then.
The problem is it's just not enough. It's kind of like it's not enough to really go
Oh.
sing or anything. It's just enough to be annoying. And anyway, well, we live here. It's a good quality of life. So that's what we keep talking.
Yeah.
We got great schools.
Yeah. And you got the Wisconsin Dells too.
Yeah.
We do.
The Dells. Yeah.
Can we assume you've been to Wisconsin, Dennis?
Yep. I've had a lot of cheese and fried fish, and I have a bunch of friends out there in Wisconsin. Yeah. The good Midwest people, not the people from the coasts. Yeah.
No.
Where are your people in Wisconsin? Are they in the Milwaukee area or in different parts of the state?
All over the place. Yeah.
All over the place. Okay. Well, first of all, I have to go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you for the socks.
Yes, the Patty socks. They look
Let
great.
me just tell you, it's sad when your socks look better than you do in person.
Oh, I think you look great. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Socks are a lot of fun, but what we want to know, Anthony, is did you get socks?
No, I don't want socks. I don't need socks.
Oh, okay. Well, you should have gotten some.
Need. It has nothing to do with need.
Not yet. I didn't get socks yet. They're probably in my mailbox at the office.
There you go.
I believe they are.
Yeah, they're probably in the office. I'll get them when I come there.
So you're with your socks, Patty, you're supporting a team of 500 virtual assistants that we have that are working in our content factory. So these are VAs that are in Pakistan, the Philippines, all over the place, that when these orders come through, they have to create the design and whatnot. And then we have a bunch of moms in Portland in our factory that print them out and ship them out and do the handwritten note in my name and whatnot. So it's massive job creation. So thank you guys.
Well, I'll feel better about wearing these socks, even though I'm not like proud of my face. I am proud of the process.
Yeah.
Supporting a good process.
And if you guys want socks for any of your friends or whatnot, just let us know and we'll do all of that stuff for you. No problem.
Yeah.
It's a great like giveaway, it's great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very fun. Okay.
Anyway, so we were meeting to talk about the possibility of you giving a keynote presentation at NFDA's annual convention, which happens to be in Vegas this year.
Easy.
And I think, I know you've been kind of communicating with Anthony, so I don't want to, I guess, go over stuff you might already know. Anthony, I'm not sure where all you went with Dennis in your conversations.
I just know Dennis from Welton, and talked to Welton several times, and Welton's a great friend of Dennis, and Dennis is a great friend of Welton. So that's all we really spoken about. We haven't spoken about anything regarding topic or what it may look like. I sent Dennis, so you guys are aware, I sent Dennis the webinar that's Ryan and Curtis are doing on the 28th or 27th. I know I missed the date.
27th, I think. Yeah.
So I think, Dennis, you did say you signed up for that. So it's going to be interesting to get your take on what they talk about on that. And I really wanted you to see that because they're probably going to use it from the practical standpoint of what funeral directors can utilize and the tools that they can utilize for that. What I think we're looking for is more or less, I think, a big overview of what's going to happen with AI moving forward. I mean, because I know I know talking to Welton, and I know you speak all over the world and everything. And he says you're pretty much always on top of that stuff of where it's going. And it was nice to send me that link about, don't get so excited yet, because there's got to be some parameters and some governance on this stuff. So I think that's where it's going. And I've been reading a lot lately about it. So I know you have been too. So
yeah, there's a lot to say, and there's a lot to talk about the future, but I think there has to be a mix of showing practically what we can do right now, like in a live demonstration, not in like some PowerPoint, and saying how, based on what we're doing today, what we can do right now, that gives us insight into what's going to happen in 6 months from now, which is like in AI years, like 10 years from now, like by the end of the year.
Yeah,
so funny. I mean, because we could talk theoretically, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about that, because then it's just like philosophy, and then it's whose ever opinion,
Yeah, and help connect the dots, as like you said, live demonstrations of here's what's happening right now, that a lot of our folks might not really be aware of, or at least not that application of it.
Yeah.
And it's gone so, mainstream, if you will. It's everywhere in the media now. And last night, 60 Minutes, I think, did almost their entire episode on AI, and it was really fascinating.
Yeah.
And, of course, they're trying to, grapple with the question of, how do you get your arms around this? And, it's super exciting, but it's super terrifying and just.
I'm afraid that I'm not one of those like mainstream media. I don't listen to them, Carmela sorts of things, but I think that because I've been quoted all the time in the news, and, that's cool. Like I'll be on CNN or Fox or whatever. All these guys will interview me, but I don't like it when general media journalist people try to talk about something they don't know about, because it's not that they're bad people, but they just don't understand it well enough, and it just causes people to get more excited and more confused at the same time.
Well, right. I mean, you can only dive so far into a subject that you don't obviously understand, and they did. Yeah. I mean, they had, I don't know, somebody from Google on, and then somebody from somebody else, but then but it was, for the average Joe on the street, it's a pretty fascinating demonstration. And I think, I think that's where our members are, the average Joe on the street.
Yeah.
Kind of level of knowledge.
Maybe even a little less, I mean, not trying to be, negative, but I think that, the majority of our membership are independent small funeral homes, and, they're just trying to do what they do best, which is helps families. And, it's kind of like it's out there. And I think a lot of people don't know. And so they feel intimidated to ask questions, because in the fear of looking uninformed or dumb, because these are high quality people. That's not their wheelhouse. So I think that's the key. And whatever you can bring to the table is recognizing that there is a fear, just like an aversion to it, just because they don't know, but how does it impact them? That's, I think that's the key.
I thought maybe I could show you a few things along the lines of what I think would be, because I know we're like talking theoretically. Let me share my screen and show you. So you guys have seen what deepfakes are, and everyone understands that, like when you watch a movie and you see like the actor, they didn't actually jump off the 80-story building, or they didn't actually, but it's so real looking. Right. Now you don't really know whether Donald Trump actually said that thing. Right. And so I think from that starting point of deep fakes that people see in movies, the question is, A, is it real? And then B, is there a good use? Because a deep fake means like you're trying to trick somebody because of like politics and that kind of thing. Right. So I have what's called the digital avatar, which is, it looks like Dennis and it sounds like Dennis. So I want to play this little thing, and I want to ask you, and I've kind of tipped you off, like, do you think this is actually Dennis, or is this the fake Dennis? Okay, you guys ready? I want to play this clip. All right.
Positive attitude can help overcome difficult situations such as public speaking. Show the audience that you feel positive and optimistic. This creates a much more engaging experience.
Is that real Dennis or fake Dennis?
I'm going to go with fake.
Me too.
Okay. What do you think, Anthony? Is that real Dennis or fake Dennis?
I'm going to go with real Dennis.
Okay. This is actually real Dennis. Yeah. But the fake Dennis is pretty close.
Yeah.
What made you think it was the fake Dennis? What's that?
Are you the fake Dennis talking right now, or are you the real Dennis?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, right now we actually are having a conversation, but the AI is almost good enough that you could talk to the fake Dennis and not know it, which is called the Turing test, which is the test of AI.
That's
Yeah. So the way I want to relate it back is just showing a few examples like that to say, hey, there's AI being written all the time. Like right now, the NBA finals are occurring, and within minutes of the game being over, there's a whole story about what happened, and it's well written and all that. Almost all sports stories and news stories are actually AI generated. Did you know that?
wow. No, and they have been
So
for a while. I mean, that's not
they
like
have.
something just
They
started
have
like
been.
last fall.
No, it's been going on for years. Yeah. People don't know
Wow.
that. Yeah. There's still room for journalists to be able to provide opinion and whatnot, but AI is
Absolutely.
already here. It's in everything you do when
Well,
it's like the Matrix, right? Like you don't see it. It's everywhere.
right,
It's, you're actually plugged into
right,
the thing in the back of your head and the pink bathtubs, that whole thing.
right.
So here's another example, and I'll just create this new project here, and I'll just say, my good friends, Patty, Carmela, and Anthony and I are meeting in Las Vegas to be able to help funeral home directors, a lot of mom and pops, understand what AI is really about. We're going to meet in Las Vegas when it's hopefully not too hot. And maybe we'll hang out in Wisconsin too, which has got the Dells and some of my favorite places. And I really like eating fried fish on Fridays. And you can see that this has been transcribed, right?
Right.
And the AI can then determine that this is my voice. But let's say that we're not meeting in Las Vegas. For whatever reason, we decide to go to another city. So name a city you like.
Seattle.
Seattle. Because maybe I misspoke. Maybe I thought it was Seattle. Maybe it's Las Vegas. And, maybe they don't like mom and pops. Maybe that, some of these guys that, they're actually pretty sophisticated. So a lot of maybe we don't want to say mom and pops.
Independent.
Owners. Okay. And I can, maybe instead of fried fish, what do I like to eat? Because that's not good for you. fried stuff's not good.
Well,
What?
cheese curds. Cheese curds also not good.
I
for
love
you, but-
cheese curds. Oh
Yeah.
man, cheese curds are great. And it's not on Friday. How often do we eat cheese curds?
Weekly.
Weekly. Okay. All right. So this is just deep faking my voice. So the AI knows my voice. Good friends, Patty, Carmela, and Anthony and I are meeting in Seattle to be able to help funeral home directors, a lot of independent owners, understand what AI is really about. We're going to meet in Las Vegas when it's hopefully not too hot. And maybe we'll hang out in Wisconsin too, which has got the Dells and some of my favorite places. And I really like eating cheese curds on weekly. Okay. That's
Wow.
kind of cool, isn't it?
It's very cool.
Okay. And then actually I'll do one more thing, and then I'm going to bring it home just to show you where I'm trying to go.
Okay.
So you guys know about Chat GPT, right? All these people are talking about this and that about Chat GPT and all the things that it can do. And so people might say, like, let's just choose an example. A funeral home city name. Give me a city name. Columbus, Ohio. Okay. And of course, you're going to see the local search results. These guys, you're going to see, general map results, general SEO results. Who do you want to look at just real quick? Any of these guys?
How about the newcomer? Right.
Newcomer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So these guys obviously want to rank in all these different keywords, and they may use Chat GPT to create lots of content, right? Because that's what people are doing, which is the mistake. They don't realize that's a mistake. So we can see that this newcomer, they rank on 18,000 keywords. Wow, they're big. And you can see that of these, actually 24,000, if we include the subdomains that they're on. These are, newcomer, Chad Boyce, who is their director, newcomer funeral home, these other people, or maybe these are like obituaries. Yeah, these are obituaries that are ranking. And some of these that are more difficult, you can see that are like here, funeral homes, Columbus, Ohio has a keyword difficulty of 50. These other ones that are in green are super easy. Like this person who died, Caitlin Hayden.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's actually her name, but I can't have Hayden.
Yeah,
I would
right.
never have Hayden as my last name. That's just, you can make too many bad jokes about that, but not difficult, only 70 people. But here, like 2,200 people are searching this one, funeral homes, Columbus, Ohio. They're ranking in position number 3, right?
Right.
And they have 2 SERP features. They're showing in the local pack, right? The 3-pack search results, and they have site links, which is great, right? So they may look at their site and say, well, I want to try to move from number 3 to number 1, or certain keywords. Let's see ones that are really difficult. They're not ranking on. Well, these are just so big. They're not even related to Columbus, but okay, fine. Cost of burial, right? So what's it cost to bury a loved one, and, cremation, and how much is a funeral? Like you can see they were in position 96, which is the 10th page of Google. You know where to hide a dead body, right?
Right.
On the 10th page of
No
Google.
pun intended. All right.
On the second page of Google. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's all these things they want to rank on. And this one, like what's it cost for a funeral and whatnot, it's not even worth going after. And then so they lost their rankings, right? So whatever they were like here, their pricing page disappeared, right? But let's say that there's some of their pages without going too far. So within Columbus, there's a lot of different neighborhoods, right? So let's say, what's a neighborhood of Columbus?
Ugh.
I was born in Dayton, Ohio. So let's see, neighborhoods.
Is
in
it
Columbus.
Eastland or Eastman? I think that's a neighborhood of Columbus.
Eastman,
German Village.
German Village. Okay.
Wow.
So Germanville. Okay. So there's all these places.
Aston.
Oh, there
Easton.
it
Yeah.
is.
Here's Easton right here. Yep. Okay. So then what most people will do, and this is the mistake, is they will say, and I'll go to GPT-4, which is a little bit smarter. I'll say, I just want to show you this one example, just to show you what people like, what you shouldn't do, but this is what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Write a location service page for what's the site called? Newcomer Columbus.
Oh,
Okay.
Newcomer.
Okay. Is it Newcomer?
I think ER, yeah.
Oh, I can't even spell Columbus.com. About Easton, a suburb of Columbus, to attract more clients for the funeral home. We want to rank on Easton funeral home. Okay. I'm literally telling it what I want, right?
Right.
This is what people do, right? And then oh shoot, I lost the connection. I have to refresh this page. Kicks me out every whatever hour. All right. So try this again. So I'm going to show you what not to do, but this is what everyone does. Okay. So they do this and it writes, it can build your whole website. It can write email copy. It can do all this marketing. So you can fire your marketing agency, right? Not that you ever want to fire Welton because Welton does other sorts of things too, but you can see like it understands SEO. See the meta description, the headline, and it starts to like this. You know, this is what people use the AI to, and I've got lots of other tools besides ChatGPT. I've got the image generator tools. I have all the tools. This is what people are doing. And this is what they get all excited about with AI, right?
Yeah,
Right? They look at this and say, this is really great, right?
Yeah. Seems great.
Yeah, it seems great. And then, you know,
Especially
maybe
'cause
they
I
don't
have to do it. Right.
Great. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with doing this, but why is this a mistake? I want people to understand why this, back to your original thing about you got this webinar coming up and they're going to talk practically about how to use the AI to do stuff like this, right? But then I want people to understand conceptually why this is not enough and why Google's going to penalize people that do this by the end of the year. Or maybe by early next year, they're going to penalize people to do this. Why is that? Because this is a great looking web page, isn't it?
Very organized. I mean,
It's comprehensive.
yeah.
It's unique. It has all, I mean, it follows the best practices of how to do SEO. And this will, if they put this up, it will actually rank for Easton Funeral Home. It will.
All
But
right.
why is that a mistake?
Yeah. Why is that as a non-digital marketer?
So I'm an original search engine engineer. I built the analytics at Yahoo 25 years ago. I was one of the first people at Yahoo. I was very lucky to be early. Doesn't mean I'm any smarter. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time to be around the folks who built the internet, basically.
Yeah.
So Google made, and the people I trained at Yahoo went to Google and, you know, then Google IPO'd and some of these people made $100 million, which makes me mad because I didn't make that much money. I retired 20 years ago anyway. I do this for fun. So Google released some updates a couple of weeks ago. And what they've advising people, you've heard about expertise, authority, trust, EAT, right? And so Google says you should always try to follow the EAT guidelines. And then they revised it to EAT. They added an extra E, and that first E is experience. So it's experience, expertise, authority, and trust. So this has expertise, authority, and trust because, you know, you can add, it does all these SEO kinds of things, but what you have to do is start with their stories, start with videos, start with, you know, the profiles of their different people, start with their founding story, start with, you know, their favorite place in Columbus to have food, or if you start with the seed of these particular components and then allow the AI to enrich that, that's the right way to do it. What we did here, which is well-intentioned, but wrong, is we just created content from scratch. So what I want to teach people is, like, I'll show you, I have an iPhone, but you can have an Android or whatever it is. And when you're taking pictures, it's automatically, in videos, it's automatically categorizing these things, right? So I was at a trampoline park a couple of days this weekend, and you can see that I'm 50 years, almost 50, but I'm dunking here, right? And so these things that are on my phone, I was with Mark Horvath in Hollywood. He runs Invisible People. So he's got 250 million views on his YouTube because he's helping homelessness. But all the, like, name a city, any city in the world.
Portland, Oregon.
Portland. Okay. And there's different Portlands. So we'll say Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine. There's a Portland to Portland flight, believe it or not. And here I'm interviewing some of the top internet marketers in Portland, right? And this is at their, what is the name of that famous bookstore there in Portland? And there's the Rose Garden. I'm speaking at a conference on influencer marketing in Portland, talking about where the bogusness and what the real thing is in influencer marketing. There's two of my friends at the airport. What?
I just have a question. So is this demonstrating that you took these while you were in Portland, and by putting this in, it's automatically going to your images knowing that they were taken in Portland? Is that your?
Yes. So I could take any one of these. So this is you've been to the Rose Garden in Portland?
I have not.
Incredible. Yeah. So this was, you can see this was taken September 30th, 2014 on an iPhone 6, and you can see exactly where it was taken, right? So this information is automatically being collected by the phone. And when you pay for iCloud or Google Photos or whatever it is, it's automatically including this micro data, right? And this is like why the military says never share, tells the soldiers like never share information, because from this micro data, you can like figure out where the troops are and what's going on and all that, right? So this data is automatically being captured. I'm not tagging it, right? I'm not tagging this photos Portland or roses, or like name a food or name an activity.
Burgers, hamburgers.
Burgers. Okay. So the AI, I want people to understand AI. Like AI is not some like Matrix, the evil robots trying to kill everyone in the future. AI is part of everyday life.
Right.
So here's McDonald's. Okay. So we're eating McDonald's, and I'm in not in Portland. I'm in Pakistan a few months ago, and we're signing an MOU with the government in Pakistan to train up 2.5 million students in digital marketing. And the way they celebrate is, this is a formal thing where there's, all this people and it's a big conference. But the way they celebrate is they bring in McDonald's, which I know sounds ridiculous. Like imagine we had like a board meeting and it was this very serious thing we wanted to celebrate, and I brought in McDonald's. What would you think? Right? They'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But over there, like bringing in McDonald's is like this gourmet sign of, and you can see it's categorized this as burgers, right? And you can see where I am in Pakistan, right?
Right.
So imagine you're a funeral home and you have the director and you have other staff and whatnot. And obviously, with the folks who are grieving and whatnot, you have to be careful about how you share stories and this kind of thing. But, when they are collecting these little videos, as we teach on how to do that, you can turn these stories, these moments you can use the AI to turn it into larger stories, to turn it into blog posts and social media posts and content on your website and updates to your Google My Business and all the different assets that are across digital marketing, right? Because if this was in Easton, and let's say that, I had a friend who was, Barbara, who's in Easton and whatever it is, and outside of Columbus, I could inject the story and make this thing a little bit more powerful by injecting little stories and images and just little snippets to say, like, Patty's favorite place is in Easton and it's this hamburger place. And so just by adding that is how we're going to not get penalized by the search engines. We're still using AI but we're enhancing what we already have. So the more successful you are as a funeral home and you have these different stories that you can share, then the more it's really, AI is just an amplifier of what you already have. So you can see these guys rank on obituaries because that's the very first thing they have listed here. So all these obits are here, right?
Right.
But maybe there's so much more they want to talk about on what it costs and what are the different kinds of ceremonies and, how do you get help and there's all kinds of stuff, pre-need and then at need, that we can use AI to help. And so they have this, they know pricing is a big deal, cremation versus burial, but imagine we could just be so much more helpful. So this is their page on pricing on cremation. And that's great. So they have a picture here, but imagine if this was a little bit stronger than what looks like just very basic sorts of articles, right? What if I could see what some of these, like, what if I could, and I know it shouldn't really matter, but if we could talk more about how it is in Columbus versus just overall, and some of other people who have, worked with the funeral home in Columbus, what are the other things that we need to say? Other things we need to know? What about newcomer versus all the other funeral homes in Columbus, right?
Right.
How could
And so they're trying to communicate this through the vibe, but the pictures are not enough to communicate the vibe or give them enough information, right?
That's where short form and long form video would come in handy to utilize that, right? I mean, so
Yes. And long form video, you just use that as a way to produce lots of short form video because you just chop it up. And the AI, there's AI tools that will chop it up. You upload the video and it chops it up and finds the key moments.
Yeah, Future Tools is a great website. I've been looking at Future Tools. I mean, I really like it. I mean, I use several of those tools. It's been pretty interesting to use that stuff. And it was funny because I was just watching Gary Vee, and Gary Vee said something about if you're not using AI today, like right now, he goes, you're already behind.
But Gary says that about everything, right? He said that about Clubhouse and Snapchat.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right because, look at where Instagram and Facebook and these guys have been when he was saying you need to get on, these things when they just came out. But that's what Gary always says about anything.
Yeah, but his point was, it's like go back to when we were in an internet phase. People were still printing out their email to show you something on their. Because it's the same thing. It's the same tools that you're going to be utilizing. And I think with Microsoft, with Pilot coming out, I mean, I was on that launch and watching that launch. I mean, that was pretty impressive when you don't have to think about those things too much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And Google Bard and GitHub Copilot and all the other variations that are they're all crazy smart. I don't even think that ChatGPT is necessarily going to be the winner. I mean, who knows?
No, I don't think so either. I think Google Bard is pretty close because right now I'm testing that on some things with the email, my Gmail, where it will actually it'll give my answer to my email. So me and my brother are going back and forth with that right now. And he's sending me things to see how it answers it for me. Yeah. So I'm just looking at this from a practical funeral director. I mean, when they look at that stuff and get all that data about things that died, all that information could be automated and AI right off the bat.
Yeah.
National Digital Forensics Alliance, NDFN.
You got a doppelganger somewhere.
Yeah.
Doing digital forensics. He's not as good looking as you, though.
No, he's not. It's funny. Someone else did that with it and did a thing on me about reading my profile in like Shakespeare or something in my voice. It was really weird to see that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Oh, you know why? Because you put in the N instead of NFDA, it was NDF. That's why it came up wrong.
Oh, okay. I've freaking typo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can't get freaking dyslexia. Yeah, solving crisis is different kind of thing. Okay, but you see the idea.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what is your presentation going to be called?
Let's try that again. Wait, NDFA?
No, you had it right. You had it before
Funeral Directors Association. Yeah, you have it right now. NFDA.
National
Funeral Directors.
It's almost you got to.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if I gave the whole presentation and at the end I said, actually, the AI created the whole presentation.
That's right. I'm not even real right now on the stage. I'm a hologram.
That's right. So, okay, here it is. Yeah. It's actually not bad. I mean, it's.
Well, no. And, I do think you've got to.
Or marketing. Okay.
I don't know, Anthony and Patty, jump in here if I'm wrong, but I think you've got to, the audience in general is not going to be particularly tech savvy.
Right.
So it won't be hard, Dennis, to talk immediately over their head.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't want to go too. Yeah.
No, I mean, truly, you will lose them almost immediately. I mean, Anthony, again, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So
that's why I had Dennis go on and see what Ryan and Curtis are talking about. I mean, their bullet points are just so simple. I mean, it's about how to use obituaries in AI. It's one of the. So when you go on their webinar, you'll see how that's probably as tech savvy as you could be with those.
So that, I imagine is, kind of a challenge from your point of view as a speaker, when you've only got, 45 minutes or 50 minutes, you're talking to a very large group of, pretty uninformed. I mean, the average Joe on the street, obviously, right, is not necessarily.
But this is what we do. Yeah, this is
right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's easy. Like you go to you're right. Like you go to the mechanic to work on your car. They know way more about your car, but you never really worry about your car except that one time it breaks down.
Right. You just hope that just wanted you to. I just that point is worth making though, because occasionally people we get feedback from the attendees that, like with Rocky Ozaki, remember Anthony, they he just lost them, unfortunately.
When I saw that presentation, I thought it was awesome.
Well, I did too. I really did, but he our members couldn't keep up with it. And
So Carmela, how about we keep, just because, I want to provide value for everybody.
Yeah.
What if we had 50% of it be fundamental? Then I'll say, now for those of you guys that have really gone in deep, here's some stuff you're going to appreciate. That way we can feed everybody. And then I can also print out a book or a guide to say, here, I'm going to show a few examples. And if you want to go deeper, here's a guide that shows how.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's great. I really do, because, as you said, that way you're kind of offering something to those folks that might be, further down the road with their knowledge and their experience. Yeah. I think with this, because it's a keynote and it'll be a very large group of people, it's not like a little workshop where you can, get this intense dialogue going. It's kind of a wow factor thing. It shouldn't be, it would not be that difficult to wow our group because they don't know that much. So
a few live demonstrations to wow them.
Yeah.
A few high level bullet points on here's how to think about AI and the categories of tools that are there, and maybe a resources guide saying if you want to go deeper in a workshop kind of way, I've prepared a bunch of examples for you guys, which you can give to your marketing agency or your marketing team or whoever it is that manages your website. They can go through that training. You don't have to do that, but here it is, because I know you're going to say, this is so great. Now what do I do? Here's my book, or here's this other stuff. I'm just giving you guys this, give it to your website person to implement.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's an important factor too, that it's not, you don't have to do this. You just got to know about it to tell someone that you need to have this done.
Well, and grasp the importance of it, grasp what it means for your business, and your personal life for that matter. I mean, what it means for the world we live in.
I think the big takeaway is to not see AI as some technical engineer kind of thing, because I'm an engineer. So the first thing people say is, well, I can't do any of that because Dennis is an engineer, and they just gloss over it. And it's way too confusing, kind of like what you just said, Carmela. But to say, actually, what AI does is it amplifies what you already have. So if you've got a great reputation on Google and Yelp and Facebook, like if you're digital and you're just not even just digital, but your word of mouth, your reputation is good because of what you've done in the community, then AI is there to enhance what you already have. Why? Because when you take those things that are a reflection of your relationships and you put them into the AI, and I'm just saying the AI is like this broad category of tools. And like Anthony said, here's all the, like, everyone's going to always start, when you mention that, they'll say, this is my favorite tool. And then you go down the rabbit hole, which I don't want to do. Right. I'll show a couple just to give a taste of what it is. But what you're doing is you're taking your reputation, which it may not be online. It may be, and you want to expose it to be online. So when you talk about your stories and how you got started and how you work with clients and your favorite place to go for a walk in the morning, and just humanizing yourself.
Exactly.
And you put that into the AI is going to make sure it can be cut up and distributed and all the things, ranking in Google and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that's the big takeaway. Now, what happens between how do I collect the information about who I am in my funeral home and the translation into results? That is in checklists.
Right.
And so I want to separate those two. I want to talk about more of the strategy behind it, but I want to still give people the practical checklist so they can go implement it.
Exactly. The strategy behind it, help them understand, like you said, the point of this isn't about creating brand new content. This is stuff that already exists out there, and you're going to use AI and its, variety of tools to strengthen that, to enhance it, to, put it out there in different ways.
Exactly.
So
I don't think that'll confuse people. I think if anything, that'll simplify what they think is a technical thing, but it's actually not a technical thing.
Right. Bring it exactly. Explain it in such a way that, that they don't think of it as, oh, that's just like some IT person is going to figure that out. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. So,
well, it doesn't mean that they need to execute on it, right? It's just for them to understand and to be the driving force that they need to do something different and find the people. Either they have staff, or it's someone they need to hire outside of their, their current staff to try to do some of this stuff. And I thought, the example you used, Dennis, where you actually brought up a funeral home. I mean, that's going to resonate with them when we're talking about, like, we're working in this space here, right? So you pulled up a funeral home and you're like, you did an example with a funeral home. And that would be, I think, connecting the dots for people,
I wonder, speaking of, having a funeral home as part of your demonstration, I wonder if there's any value in, like, us connecting you with a specific funeral home.
Yeah, I would love to do a few case studies.
You can kind of work with that funeral home just a little bit. I mean, to craft your live demonstration. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Ideally, just give me 3, just so we have some stuff to work with. And then I want to show people how easy it is to implement, right? I'm not here to sell anything.
Yeah.
My main thing is just to help them understand what is AI, build a strategy around it, not get confused around all this technical tools. Because anytime you watch 60 Minutes or whatever, you get more confused about and scared because these people don't know. But then my secret little mission is I want them to hire someone from their local high school or community college. Or maybe there's a stay-at-home mom that could work a few hours per week and go through our training, and that creates jobs. So the reason I'm doing this is I want to create jobs.
Right. You're the million jobs guy.
Yeah. And there's an employment issue here in the US, and we're still hiring a ton of VAs in Philippines, Pakistan, and these other places. And those people get specialized in the different tools, and there's a place for that. But the strategy and working with the content and working in the community and building relationships is usually, I imagine, the director is the one doing a lot of that, but they don't realize that what they're doing as they're building relationships is actually the fuel that powers the AI and powers all of digital marketing. And so, but someone has to be kind of an administrator of that. It can't be all on the director.
No. Right.
So this marketing assistant, whoever is actually in the mortuary, not somebody, in some faraway country, but someone who's actually there, they're best positioned to be able to collect the stuff. And then, so, every morning I make this beet juice tea, and I use my Keurig, a Keurig machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I take the ingredients and then I put it in the Keurig machine and I press the button and it brews all the stuff for me, right? And what I want people to understand is that using these AI tools is like using a Keurig machine. If you put the right thing into, the little cup packet thing, whatever, the K-cup, I think that's what it's called. Yeah. You stick the thing in there, you press the button, small, medium, large, or this brew strength or whatever, depending on how fancy your thing is. You press the button and then you come back 40 seconds later, it's already brewed your whole thing. I want people to understand that you don't need to hire a master technician to press the button to brew your tea or whatever, your coffee or whatever it is. What you need to have is the right ingredients. If you can stick the thing in the machine, close the lid, press the button, it will make the thing that you want, right? Your hot chocolate, your tea, your green tea, whatever it is you want. Because I don't want to say this the wrong way, but I think 99% of what's happening in digital marketing agencies and whatnot is just people getting ripped off because they think that this is some complex thing. And the agency can't produce those ingredients. Those ingredients, the reputation items, that's what you have to provide as the funeral home. Right. You put that in the machine, then any one of your people that goes through some very basic training can stick it in the machine, press the button, and then it brews the coffee for you, right? That's what AI does. Now, you don't need to understand how the AI does all the stuff that it does. You just need to know, what do I put in? Right. And then what do I get out? Right.
Right. That's a good analogy, that anyone can understand. So I think that's a really important point for the average, business owner about.
So I'd love to do it. Choose a few funeral homes.
Okay.
Let's set up some I'll conduct little webinars or whatnot and get them working on it. Hopefully at the initial meetings, we can have the director and maybe whoever their marketing person is that wants to be trained up.
Okay.
And we'll go through 2 or 3 quick little sessions, implement this, show that when we use the AI tools, that we're not just creating all this cool, wow kind of stuff, but it's actually helping them in digital marketing. It's actually impacting their search results. It's actually driving social engagement. It's actually driving more leads, more phone calls, that kind of thing. It's actually showing in their Google My Business that it's working for them, right? So it's not some magic thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
then we can say, look, these are 3 ordinary funeral homes,
right?
That the NFDA selected. These weren't the most tech savvy. They weren't the biggest. They were just 3 random folks. And if these guys can do it, and here's our checklist, give this to A, get your marketing person. B, have them go through the checklist. C, implement analytics so you can see what's going on.
There you go. ABC.
Yeah.
So I have a question, Dennis, in terms of your presentation and this idea of having 3, sample NFDA members, various size, kind of your, typical run of the mill, 350 calls or less kind of funeral home. Would you imagine that they would be available during your presentation? Do you envision them sitting on stage while you're talking and answering questions about, or are you just Do you know what I'm saying? Which
I would love, I would love for it to be more communal, because the risk is when I speak on stage, people will say, well, that's because he's the expert. That's because he's done it for Nike and the Golden State Warriors and Starbucks. And, I know that worked for Starbucks because we helped launch Frappuccino. They gave us $17 million and we ran ads, and there's a great case study around that. But they'll say, but that doesn't apply to me because I'm just a mom and pop. We only have 5 employees. I can't do any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I'll say, no, look at these guys here. Tell us, what did you do? Well, what we did was we went through this checklist and we went like this, and I had trouble finding a marketing person, but I found this intern at the local high school or whatever it was. And we did this, and we had a little struggle on this part here, but then, this happened. And then other people.
It would be great too, to get them geographically spread out too, Patty, in that sense too, also. So someone can't say it's not my market or,
Right.
Yeah.
But we should be able to come up with, with 3
or 5, just you give me 5, whatever it is you want. Let's do it.
Kind of sample funeral homes,
I think, on the top of my head, I can give you.
Yeah.
There's someone else that I don't think of.
Right.
That are also can be a great stage presence too. Also you got to think about that as well.
Yeah.
I would think.
Well,
So a lot of people are scared of being on
folks,
stage.
we've only got like 45 minutes to an hour at the most.
Yeah.
For the whole presentation. So just kind of keep in mind the parameters.
I would do 3 people. 3 would be enough.
So I just have a question to help us better identify who those people would be. Are you suggesting that these are people that are already doing it right? Or are these people that you can demonstrate how they can do it right? Do you see what I'm saying? What are we starting with? Are we starting with people that like, hey, here's a small funeral home, they're already using AI? Or are these people just like, they don't have an idea, and you're going to like say, well, here's your funeral home. You know what I'm saying? Like, help us figure out who should we be looking for in terms of the sophistication within technology.
Yeah. So Patty, I think we should have a mix, because we want this to appeal to people who have like nothing going on in digital, all the way up to maybe somebody who's reasonably sophisticated, because everybody can improve. But the thing is, if I only show off people who are doing really well, now I'm showing, Nike level sorts of stats, and then people will think, well, this doesn't apply to me. The biggest thing I want, because I've spoken on 800 stages, I've done keynotes for 30 years. I'm not here to yes, we'll wow people. Yes, the speaker feedback forms will say, it was entertaining and they learned a lot and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing I want is them to take action. And because AI is the number one thing that people are talking about right now in marketing, because it's just like everywhere, people are, scared of the matrix and whatever. I think there's just so much well-intentioned misinformation that people get scared and they don't take action. So I think it's like what you were talking about, Carmela, where it's very easy to go into the weeds and then people they gloss over. I want the number one thing from this keynote. And I know a keynote's supposed to be like inspirational and whatnot, but the number one thing I want people to take action. I want them to equip their marketing person and do the checklist.
Go to Nike. Why don't you use Dutch? I would use Dutch as one. I would definitely use Dutch as one of the people that be up there. Wouldn't you agree that Dutch should be one of the people?
Dutch Nye?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would use him as one of the first ones up there, because their website's pretty technical. Sad. He's a technical. They use. I know his website. They're pretty technical on their website. He was definitely one I would use as a board member. Out of all the board members, I would use him before anybody else. I guess that's the first person I would think of.
Well, we can mull that over.
We can come up with the right folks for you, Dennis. I don't.
And then just a few of them, and it could be a mix of things. And just, I know how people are, where most people are so busy. A lot of people, they may have good intention, but they might not follow through. So.
Right.
Maybe even have like 5 and know that a couple people will just flake out because that's just kind of what happens, or they get busy, or
Oh, well, right, and there's actually not a whole ton of time between now and September.
I definitely want to give you one of Welton's customers.
Yeah, and Welton's great. I love Welton.
Yeah, we do too. He's a really great guy, wonderful guy.
Ryan is the how do I want to say this, the Gary V of our industry.
Okay.
So you'll see he's really a nice guy, but you'll see he's that kind of he's all about personal brand and all that kind of stuff too. So, and Curtis he runs a Tukios is a video company, but now building websites. And they were just bought by legacy.com not too long ago. So it's just interesting how them two got are doing this together, because one's like a Mormon, he's like, the other one's loud and vibrant. So it's kind of interesting how these two are
Kind of a nice mix.
Yeah, it's the yin and the yang kind of, thing. It really is. So, and that's why I sent them to you. So I want you to see the difference of how one's going to react to the other. And I'll be on, and they already sent me, you post some questions and some stuff. So I'll just throw my own little 2 cents in there about questions. But,
Okay.
But Curtis already emailed me and asked me about, because when I'm on, I really like to interact with them on stuff. So
Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And to Carmela's point, I have to make sure I don't scare or cause people to glaze over.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have to sort of kind of go for the lowest common denominator, unfortunately, with a group that big, and just sort of assume a level of knowledge, at least, in any kind of deeper technical sense.
Well, so you'll be able to read the room pretty quickly. If I was just reading something about when you start going over people's heads.
Oh yeah, you can tell. Yeah, I'm always watching. I can see.
They pick up their phone. That's what this person was saying. He goes, the first thing they'll do is they'll pick up their phone and they'll start scrolling. I think that's great.
Awesome.
Right,
well, there's nothing better than.
So, Dennis, what might your fee be for our keynote?
Oh, my standard fee is $10,000 plus travel.
Okay.
But there's no travel.
You travel
here in Vegas.
Dennis, what are you going down the street? You're going down the street. I can pick you up. You want me to pick you up? I can pick you up.
I think it's like a $24 Uber. So
We'll cover you.
There you go.
You can Uber Black it. It'll be $47. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Do you have any other questions for us at this point?
When can you
get you
when can you give me that list?
Yeah. Well, we should, I don't know, Anthony, when can we do this? By sometime this week?
Oh yeah.
Think about a list of 4 or 5.
Yeah, the people that I'm thinking about, yeah. So we could definitely give it to them by this week.
Okay.
Yeah. This will be great. And then I imagine, because some of these people, like 1 or 2 will be a board member or whatnot, they're going to start telling everyone about the results they're seeing and then what I want to see is a buildup of anticipation.
Yeah.
Because a few people are getting results and they're going to tell everyone. Yeah.
That's the other thing I want, because Dennis, I'm hoping you'll be more willing to do us a couple of short, or we can do a long form thing and just cut it up, so that way we can throw it out on our own social media about AI and we're talking about. And I really like thinking about the people that we're going to put on this list. I want to make sure they're the ones that, oh my God, wait till you guys, he did this for my, wait till you see this. That's the kind of people we need to go that are going to these shows.
Yeah.
I was going to say, once we've identified who's going to do it, we could even have Gabe do a brush with death, like a promo, like a video, we do a podcast here. So that could just be like a little teaser, because I just think it would be another way for them to share in their markets. Like, hey, my firm is going to be featured in the Wednesday session.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I like your point about having a couple social media promos and just others, but a couple real articles too. I don't want to just tease people. So if you guys are cool with it, I would love to, as we're implementing, turn some of these into checklists and articles that we post, and just to provide more value, because not everyone's going to go to the conference necessarily, but they can still see, here's what you do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
We do a preview in, I guess it'll be in September, in August or September. We can actually put it in one of those, I'm sure, in our magazine, and the director, I'm sure Ed will be more glad to throw it in there.
Yeah, this is great.
Could definitely get some.
I can't imagine what it's going to be in September, right? The tools we're playing with now in April, I know it's not going to be the same.
No, I mean, with Synthesia, that's all new already. I mean, they updated that already. I mean, Fellow by Eye, they updated that already. I mean, from when I first started using all that stuff months ago, it's like all new already. And so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a thing not too long ago about give me 30 Facebook posts, as a social media expert, blah, blah, blah. And it came up, and then I did it again. What I really liked about Bard is that it gives you 3 options to pick from, 3 drafts.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. Now you get 3 drafts. Yeah.
And it's real time.
Yeah. Yep.
The Microsoft and Google, Microsoft and Google versions are combining search results with the AI, but as you know, ChatGPT is only through 2021 as of now.
Right. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But it's interesting how they all talk about, like you said, when you sent me the link to read the article and I'm like, some of them were the first ones to sign the petition about making sure that this is going to be safe and all that already. Like, kind of interesting how they already know that.
Yeah. I think I was in the first 1,000 people to sign the petition.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty interesting when I looked at it.
Yeah.
So,
All
Okay.
right. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time if you don't have any other immediate questions for us, but yeah, we will definitely be in touch. Hopefully just in the next couple days with a funeral home list. And yeah, I mean, as we get closer, if you want to provide content, like you said, that we could develop into checklists and things like that to
Exactly.
get out.
I want to provide as much value as possible. I want people to walk out there with, I'll even print at my own expense, these different checklists I want them to implement. I want them to hire a marketing person or give it to their agency or whoever
Right.
the person is. And actually, like, that's my number one thing, because people, and I've done this hundreds of times, but I haven't really cracked the code to get more than like 10% of people to implement.
Right.
And I think maybe this is just true at conferences, whether it's a keynote or a workshop, is people say,
Well-
wow, it's really interesting, but then they don't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, everybody will be nodding their head like they're really with you, and they really are
Yeah.
with you, but then something gets lost by the time they get back to their home and office. Life is too
They have,
busy.
20 pages of notes,
Right.
they've gone to all these different sessions, and then
Right.
then it all just sort
Right.
of
Right.
goes away.
So,
Yeah.
Staff
Yeah.
shortage, shortage of staff.
Mm-hmm.
We can also put this on the archive page. I mean, I'd like to see us do more of that on our conference or our annual convention on our landing page. So after the convention is passed, that we retain some of these resources. So if you didn't happen to go, you can still go back and access these resources from the conversation.
Yeah, well, again,
And then make an
should-
updated list. I would love to
Yeah.
keep it updated every month. Here's the latest tools, here's the latest techniques, here's
Yeah,
more
there you
examples
go.
of other people sharing feedback on how they did it. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good to do a post-marketing play on everything that we did. Like, to your point, Patty, we should do that regularly on everything. All of the conferences or conventions that we put on. I mean, there should be a marketing plan after the fact.
Exactly. To hold them accountable, and then even mention, hey, we're going to create this accountability. We're sending out these checklists. And if you guys get stuck, maybe we just have a webinar like, a few weeks later saying, once
Right.
you implement this, let's hold a webinar, ask any questions that you want, and we'll help you. And then we'll help each other create a Facebook group or whatever we have where people can help each other.
there you go.
Love it.
Excellent. All right. Well, it's great to meet you, Dennis.
Great. Yeah. Awesome, guys.
Yeah. really
Thanks again for
excited
the talk.
about working together. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Holler if you need anything.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
All right. Thank
Thanks
you.
again. Bye.
Bye-bye.